What is up, Equine Edge family? Brady Klotz here again with you on a Thursday night with my co-host Mike Somich. What is up, Mike? How's it going?
Oh, it's good, man. I'm just punching in my Charlestown pick 4 real fast here. So we're about to get off on the 5th race here. We've got 6, 7, and 8 later tonight as well. So we're just starting the late pick 4. We're hoping to have a couple tracks going, but all we got is Charlestown. But we're going to make it happen, right, Brady?
That's right. Hey, we don't normally get a race off within the first 2 minutes of coming on the air, but hey, we're going to give it to you tonight. We're going to have 3 live races from Charlestown. Unfortunately, Remington's schedule changed a little bit, so we're going to have to pivot, and we're going to go over 3 stakes races from the weekend from Del Mar, Aqueduct, and Churchill Downs. So we hope that you'll enjoy that, a little bit of live racing with a little bit of stakes preview for the weekend. It's almost Thanksgiving. We got the holidays coming up. Racing still doesn't go away. Mike, would you take a 3-day break?
I took a 3-day break, and I got to say, the recharge was really nice. I mean, just like I probably had handicapped, I don't know, 200 days in a row, something like that, and played horses in some level. And so just to have those 3 days, you're like, because you come back from Breeders' Cup and playing the BCBC and going through everything, it is just this whirlwind. I probably stayed out a little too late a couple of those nights prior to it and had a little too much fun and then took these long flights and everything. So it was nice to just kind of sit back, relax, recharge. Been doing very well since I got back, so that probably helps my enthusiasm to the sport right now. But yeah, it's been good, man. It's been nice to recharge.
Yeah, it's crazy the ups and downs that we experience through this game and the highs and lows, and the amount of people that quit horse racing every day on Twitter is pretty funny too. So,
well, it's never your fault.
All right. Hey, touchdown Patriots! Yeah. Let's go, TD. All right, we got the Patriots game on as well. Patriots Falcons, and it's 10-0, and the second quarter just started. So we got that going for you guys tonight as well. We're going to have a fun, jam-packed hour, and looks like the horses are already walking back towards the gate. And so let's talk about this 5th race at Charlestown at 0 minutes to post. Looks like we have a lone speed horse in the 2 at 4-5, Little Bold Bandit. Did anything pop out here to you, Mike, that you liked?
The 2 looks tough. If you look at the Equine Edge pace numbers, 2 has an 88, clearly a lone speed horse. It really should be the favorite in this spot, but at the same time, the horse is 1 for 12 lifetime. A lot of these lower level races that you see here at Charlestown, you've got these crazy 1 for favorites that are short prices. This is one where I agree because of the pace edge, probably should be the favorite. Not a horse I'd be looking to bet to win, but is one that I used in my pick 4. I just dropped my pick 4 in here. I started 3 deep here. I think the price play is the 1 horse. 1 horse has been running against better at other tracks, and now it's coming back to Charlestown. Now it's coming back here to Charlestown. Second time running here at Charlestown, if I remember correctly. Yep, second time at Charlestown. And last time just absolutely quit after a bad break. So just kind of draw a line through that. This horse can get back to the race 2 back at Delaware. It has a legit chance at 20-1. So I'm using the 1 horse underneath and using it in the pick 4 as well. And then I'm going to use the 8 horse too, which is kind of the other logical horse. The 4 and the 8 have been running against each other. They've each gotten the better of each other. But in this scenario, I think it kind of sets up a little better for the 8. So I started out with 2-1-8 or 1-2-8, but I wouldn't be shocked if the 2 just kind of runs away with this. If I was playing this aggressively, I would play press tickets here with the 2 horse to start out and then shorten up a couple legs later.
No, good points. Absolutely. The 2 has a pace advantage, but the thing is, if I'm going to have to swallow 3-5 or 4-5 on a horse like this, he is dropping in class quite a bit, but at the end of the day, he really doesn't win. And so at this level, anything can happen. I'll take a horse that can win or is proven to be a winner in previous races, such as the 8 is who I liked on top here. I like the 4 a little bit too, Raven Ray. And so both of these horses have won in their last 3 starts at Charlestown. And so I was going to take a little bit of a swing and try to beat this chalk here.
Yeah, 2 is an interesting horse. I mean, you see this type of horse come in a lot. It's shipping in from Laurel. Last time it was on dirt at Laurel, it lost by 29 lengths. It's finished 7th in its last 2 races. And today you're taking it at 3-5. However, it's run at Charlestown twice, won once, and ran 3rd another time. Both of those at a higher level than this. So it's just one of those spots where, this is kind of what you get in some of these night races. You have to get creative or decide that the chalk is the right way to go. I do think that this is the right favorite, but the price is just tough to swallow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Looks like they're getting them loaded into the gate now. We'll switch over to the video live feed. And looks like 1 or 2 more to load. I feel like at these night tracks, sometimes it takes forever to get these horses into the gate.
Well, you either have like the old seasoned vets or it's an absolute train wreck. And, you have the horses that start 100 times and just walk in there like champions. Something. Those are fun races, but we'll see.
I love the old season vets. Horses like Welder. Those horses are
Yeah.
cool. Or Pink Lloyd, Welder, have, 40, 50 lifetime starts, and, he just runs that bang up race every single time. I think Welder's retired officially now. I think,
Yep.
Did I hear that right? Yeah.
Welder's called it a day. Last time I saw Welder, he was staring at the side of a stall, I think. There was a picture of him on Twitter yesterday, I think it was.
Yes.
We got a lot of
I saw
people
that
jumping
one.
in here. John likes the 2 here as a single. I don't disagree with you there, John. And we got the quote unquote king of the pick 4s this year, starting with a 2, 3, 8 in his pick 4. I like that 4, 5, 6. I'm right with you there. And I actually had the 5 as a top pick in the last race too. So I don't think that's a terrible ticket either. Let's just see if we can get around this favorite somehow. I wouldn't mind the 1 horse here, 20-1. Wouldn't be awful. Here's John's ticket down here as well. He's singling the 5 at the end. And this is the example where, I think you could probably press. We're all using the 2 at the start, all using the 5 at the end. 1 and 3 are the common horses in that second leg. So maybe you play 2 with 1, 3 with 4, 5, 6 with 5 and play a smaller ticket.
Always crazy to watch these odds so close to post time in these small tracks and how we've seen them change just in the few weeks that we've been doing this show. And so gates are open and it looks like they're off and running.
Yep, and the 2 is not getting out. I mean, he's clearly being asked, but not getting away as quickly as you'd expect for a 3 to 5 shot here.
Tell you what, the 8 outbroke everybody and wasn't really asked to get up to sit third. 2's really working hard to get that front position. So
they're not going to get it now. Looks like the 3 got the rail. Look at the 1.
There's the long shot play. Looks like he's moving now. This might be, wow, the 2's really making a move. If he loses from here, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, the 2 looks like he should cruise home from here. Be nice if we get a little 2-1 exacta to start the night, though. Come on, get that price up.
It looks like the 1's running on the outside. He should have it for second. There we go.
Get that price up. All right.
Nice.
Good start to the night. There we go.
Top pick over the long shot play.
I like it.
That's
going
to pay decent. You had a 31 to 1 shot run second. I mean, that is something. There's that long shot play that we always talk about. Wasn't really a win threat, but underneath can really blow up these exotics. All right, good single there, John. John had that singled, and I'm sure a lot of others did as well. What a great way to start off the late pick 4.
That's a nice little $16 exacta there with a 2 to 5 on top. We'll take that all day, every day. That's a good way to start the show.
Well, we showed that the class drop boded well for the 2, and the speed, he didn't need to be on the lead, even though the pace number showed that he was an 88, which was far superior as far as speed goes to any of these other runners. And what that pace number is telling you is who should be first or second 67% of the time. And so if we look, the 3 was on the lead, and so he was the 3rd choice on the pace number, really wasn't that far off of the 7 either. And so use the pace number to your advantage. Now, I know I've been using it quite a bit since it came out.
Yeah, I have too. I've kind of switched up how I pace handicap since this number came out. So I generally would use time form numbers and then look at DRF and kind of come up with what I believe those pace numbers should be based on the races they're coming out of, the times of those races, and watching replays I actually think helps with pace, just because you can see a lot more what the jockey's intention was early in races. But the Equinedge speed figure, the pace number, has been a big help for me because I've found that when time form and Equinedge kind of disagree, Equinedge has been a little bit more accurate, especially in those early numbers. And that's when I asked about this number and kind of what it was supposed to be. The explanation I got was who's in the lead at the first call, right? And so it's really that first early jump out of the race versus necessarily the first half mile. So it's interesting when you look at that, you can see who has a little bit more gate speed, which is super important, especially in these like 4.5 furlong races, 5.5 furlong sprints, or in a lot of the tracks, we have a short distance to that first turn. It can be very helpful too, because that can be a big edge being on the inside instead of the outside.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And, depending on what track configuration you're at, if it's a 2-turn mile, oftentimes that run into the first turn is very short and positioning is very important. So maybe you're handicapping speed horses that are breaking from the inside. Whereas, at Del Mar, if you're breaking from the outside post, we don't like you no matter what. And so, just depends on track configuration, depends on post position, and use that as another algorithm tool in your handicapping. I know it's helped me improve mine as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the reasons I've been on a heater. Not going to lie. That base numbers have been very helpful. And I had to get through one of the bonuses where you have to bet a bunch to be able to cash out your bonus. And so I've been playing some aggressive horse bets because of that. And the pace number, it's been fun just following this and finding lone speed, and then playing that lone speed to win or win place, depending on how the number is. And it's gone well, man. It's a very nice tool to add.
Absolutely. Have you been playing in tournaments since you got back from the Breeders' Cup?
I've been playing win place tournaments. It's one of the so right now NHC is kind of that last gasp for qualifying for a lot of people is going on, which means there's some really good tournaments. If you've not played online before, if you've not played these win place tournaments and you want to get to NHC, right now is a great time. They have specific tournaments for people without a seat, which means that you get a kind of a little bit of an edge there because everyone who has a seat cannot play in those. And then they're starting the $500 tournaments, which are my favorite way to try and qualify for BCBC. We've talked about that before. They roll those out now for NHC about once a week over on horse tourneys. And it's a great way to have a better chance of qualifying because you don't need to beat 165 people to get a seat. You got to beat 21. And so that makes it a lot easier. So I've got one seat right now for NHC next year. So I'm playing the feeders right now to get into those 500s. I was fortunate enough to get a seat today. So I'll be playing the $500 one on Sunday, the 27th, I believe it is. And then I'm trying to get a BCBC seat for next year already. I'm already getting into that. So I'm in the $500 one on, I think it's this Sunday that I qualified for on horse players.
Check it off, man, before the end of the year. Like, Merry Christmas to you. Let's go.
Dude,
that's got to be awesome.
If I get BCBC and NHC checked off for 2023 or 2022 before Christmas, I am a happy man.
All right, Steve here. It looks like his car broke down in Charlestown 4 years ago. It was one of the best and worst nights. Maybe his car broke down, so he had to go to Charlestown. And maybe did you hit the pick 5 or the pick 4, Steve? Tell us more about that story. So I am not NHC qualified, and I just booked my flights to Pegasus last week. And I guess those 2 weeks are now coinciding. So I'm going to Pegasus. And so I'm going to try to get some BCBC seats for next year. That is my main focus. But I was kind of disappointed we won't have a Pegasus World Cup betting challenge this year. It's like my tournament. It's like the Equinage tournament. Yeah.
It's a bummer, man. I have a calendar of the tournaments I want to play in, and that one was one of the circled ones this year. Like I wanted to be there down in Florida for that. I thought it'd be an absolute blast. I love the single card tournaments. Like the NHC is a lot of fun, but it's freaking chaos when you're there because it's literally, I think it's like 10 or 11 tracks every day. You have all these races that are just constantly going. BCBC, the Pegasus Challenge, the Keeneland Grade 1 Gamble, those are so much fun to play because there's a race every 30 minutes. You just, you have a good time in between. You can hang out, talk to people, go around, walk around the track, check it out. NHC, it's just go, 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 go.
I'll tell you what, I played in my first NHC in August. And Mike, was that your second or third?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
It is overwhelming. And so when you first get there in the mornings, it's like everybody gets there early, have a great breakfast and everything. And then the first few races start going off at like Monmouth and Gulfstream. Then all of a sudden there's a 2-hour window from it's like 11 a.m. to like 1 p.m. where there's a race like every 30 seconds, it feels like. You're looking at one screen here and you got Monmouth going, then you got Santa Anita starting up, and then you got, 3 other tracks going off in 5 minutes. You don't want to miss a mandatory play. That's what I was worried about most. And so what I did was I went and put in all my mandatory plays, and then I would only make an adjustment if I didn't like the odds I was getting, because I just didn't want to miss one. And if you miss one, you're kind of like shit out of luck. So, but no, there's a lot that goes into it. I think breaking your maiden in the NHC is a good idea, and you could probably do better the second time you come back. But it's a tough tournament, man. You gotta be picking 20-1 shots consistently. I remember there was a 50-1 bomb that won at Monmouth Park when we were there, and the whole room was quiet except for like 2 guys that had it. So
one guy had it on both his 2 entries. How do you put that horse on both your entries? It's like it's the guy who won the previous year. It's just wild to me that you end up with that horse.
He shot right up to the top of the leaderboard. No, it's a lot of fun, a lot of hooting and hollering, and then when they get down to that final table, it's craziness. Yeah. Let's go and talk.
Hopefully this happens real quick. Like if you get to be at Pegasus and this goes down, that would be incredible. Both Life is Good and Nick's Go are both pointing to that race. You mentioned, like, what do you think they go for the first half? Sub 46, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And here's my concern. I want to see this. This should just be a match race. Let's put up the $3 million, have these horses duke it out. Who would want to send their horse to run third? I mean, the prize money's pretty good. That's the only thing. So you're going to send in maybe like a horse like Max Player that could pick up the pieces, or I don't know who. I mean, Hot Rod Charlie's probably going to take a break. Essential Quality, is he done? Or is he going to be – I think he might be done, isn't he?
I can't wait for Dr. Post to win this race.
Those two Post, he's going to pick up the pieces.
Cook each other on the front end, and you're just going to have Dr. Post circling the field at a crazy number.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what you said on Twitter. You said you can't wait to bet the closer out of that race.
The thing is when you get, like, you look at what happened with Etruska, if you get some of these horses that hook up front and like Which one of those horses is going to rate? How about we ask that question?
I would say Life is Good is more likely to rate, to have the chance to rate. Nixco cannot. If Nixco doesn't get the lead, he has no chance. I believe that Life is Good might be a more versatile horse. Is he naturally faster than Nixco? Maybe. I'm going to be watching training a lot. And here's what I like about Life is Good. If I had to bet the race right now, I'm probably betting Nixco. In 2 months from now, I might be switching to Life is Good because I know what I'm getting out of Nixco. I think we saw the absolute best peak effort. I don't think it gets any better than that. Life is Good is still on the improve. He's still learning. He's maturing. He's growing. He's getting better. And so if you had to ask me right now, who do we think I'm betting in the Pegasus? Well, I hope to have like a huge pick 5 to both, to be honest with you. I'm probably taking Life is Good, and Nixco has changed my life more than any other horse I've ever had. So I'm not betting emotionally.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I mean, you got to remember, Life is Good is faster than Jackie's Warrior in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that was comfortable. Life is Good was going there.
And that was with Mike Somich aboard too. So
disgusting. Yeah.
I remember we were watching that race together at the NHC, and Mike Somich was just like chilly on the horse. It was almost like he was giving the horse a breeze. And Joel was scrubbing Jackie's Warrior from like the quarter pole on, maybe even before the quarter pole. And, he re-rallied on the inside. And so for that horse to be able to go with the sprinter, I mean, maybe Life is Good could have won the Breeders' Cup Sprint and the Classic. Who knows? Maybe this horse can do it all.
I mean, I think he would have won the sprint. I think he's that good. I don't know if he would have won the Classic. The Classic would have been, I think if he was in the Classic, Essential Quality might have won the Classic. Maybe Matthias Spirit. Yeah. I think someone off the pace would have won it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll never know. I wish we would.
Never know. Anyway, let's jump into that first race before I sidetrack you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been sidetracked all day. Let's go. We're going to go over a few stakes races. We're going to start with Aqueduct. And I'm going to go to race 9. This is a grade 2 Red Smith Stakes at Aqueduct for 3-year-olds and up. And so nice to see that racing doesn't necessarily just end after the Breeders' Cup. Chad's got a few in this race. It's 11 furlongs on the turf. Some familiar names in this field that we've been seeing kind of beating each other up for the last couple of years. You got Tide of the Sea, who should have the lead. Channel Cat, who is kind of dangerous. However, I like him a heck of a lot better, higher than 4-1. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Jack Sisterson, I love you, man, when you're 15 to 20-1. Give me Channel Cat, Lexitonian at those types of prices. But 4-1, man, I'm fading at 4-1 there. Tide of the Sea, it was the last time this horse won was at Monmouth. Before that, it was the Baruch at Gulfstream in January. And so this horse just had not returned to his prior form at all. Comes back and gets kind of an easy win at Laurel Park, 2 back. This should be the controlling speed, and it looks like you're going to get a nice price at 15-1. I've got to think if he runs his best effort here, he could be hard to catch. Serve the King is probably going to be your post-time favorite, I would guess. Good chalk or bad chalk here, Mike?
I mean, I'm going to go with bad chalk, not because I don't think the horse is capable of winning. I think this is just kind of a tough race to handicap. These longer races at New York, you never know what you're going to get from a pace perspective. And this is one of those where you're going to see a slow pace. The question is how slow. Serve the King is going to want to come from off it. And this is, look, it's just not an open and shut race. Like, I mean, I respect Serve the King, but we've got C Money in here mentioning Soldiers Rising. That was a horse that ran second to Yabir. We saw how good that horse was. So you got to respect that horse. And then, like you mentioned, Channel Cat, and how you don't want to take him at 4-1. And this is one of those spots where Equinedge has Tail of the Sea being your clear leader here, right? Every other number I see has Channel Cat as the faster horse early, and Channel Cat's adding blinkers. And it kind of feels like Channel Cat steals one of these races every year, right? And I don't really want to pick Channel Cat, but I kind of feel like Channel Cat's going to wire the field here. Like, it just seems like he's going to go really slow and just kind of keep going. And guess what? It's supposed to rain tonight, so there's going to be a little bit of give in the ground, which he's done better in.
He likes
too. I just think it's going to be tough for Serve the King to be able to catch Channel Cat or Tide of the Sea, whoever's up in front, and also at the same time hold off No Word and Soldiers Rising. I respect both of those horses as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't really fall in love with any of the closers here. I'm going to want a horse that's forwardly placed. After watching Aqueduct for the last couple of weeks, it looks like the track's playing pretty fair. It just depends on the jockey tactics in New York. Sometimes we'll see a speed horse go out there and just be absolutely left alone and untouched. I question the stamina of Tide of the Sea right now because he's thrown in a few really bad clunkers. So I think 15-1 is an appropriate price for him. And I don't necessarily think that he has to be on the lead. I think he can maybe sit second to Channel Cat. I mean, I look down the line here, value engineering. It's like, all right, what is this horse? They're jumping him up from, $80,000 allowance race. This is way in over his head. It's a Klarovich for Chad, and your boy Dylan Davis is riding out of his mind right now. So if there's anybody that can do it at a price, I mean, how many races are they going to let Dylan Davis win at like 8 to 15-1? I mean, this is ridiculous what he's been able to do recently in New York.
If he is on a Clement horse, include that horse. It is unbelievable how well those two have done at Belmont previously and now at Aqueduct. And I talked about this on the Magic Mike show. Definitely a shout out to Aqueduct, man. The cards that they put together last weekend and this weekend are exceptional. And it's like this. I mean, look, this is a 10-horse field. You're getting deep fields, competitive fields. You're getting logical winners at like between 5-1 and 15-1 as a horse player. That's what I want. I want a horse I can find at one of those middling prices. I don't want this 40-1, and I don't want the 9-5 every time. I want those middle prices because that's how you can really create value in a sequence. And this is another great example here. Like, you can make an argument for value engineering. You can make an argument for No Word. You can make an argument for Price Talk. You can make an argument for Sham Rocket. And this is like, it's just a deep race. It's one of those where if you're able to really set your foot down on an opinion and press it, you can do well here by going too deep and spreading in other legs of a pick 5.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely agree. And, maybe the Dylan Davis Clement angle is Alabama first half angle now. I mean, if it's that good. You've been saying this Dylan Davis Clement thing for probably 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, ever since Joel has been kind of, Joel's everywhere. Let's be honest. Probably nobody tracks more miles in an aircraft than Joel Rosario. But when he's been out of New York, it's been Dylan Davis, as you've been saying, has been getting Clement's great mounts, which would be 2-3-1 with Rosario aboard. You're now getting 8 to 12-1 with Davis.
It's been incredible, and it's the gift that keeps on giving right now. So hopefully, the 100 or so people watching this right now don't tell everybody, all their friends too, and all of a sudden it's 3-1 tomorrow. But yeah, he's been riding live horses. Is it Friday? Yeah, tomorrow in the first race.
Friday's card is huge.
He's on a 15-1 shot in the first race of Clement's. By the way, Davis is.
I would agree. Tide of the Sea has not been the same lately. Luckily, on Pegasus Day, he was his best. Awesome Bama first half. Absolutely. We'll keep that one quiet. Yeah, this race to me was wide open. This to me is the speed horses aren't that fast. Like they're not world beaters on the front end. And so I always like that phrase, inviting the closers into the race. If this is going to be more of like a European type of run race, maybe like more of a pack race. I mean, Tide of the Sea and Channel Cat might be a little bit out in front, but I feel like the rest of the horses in this race, whether you're looking at Price Talk, Serve the King, No Word, Value Engineering, Sham Rocket, I think they're all going to kind of be in the same position, and it's just going to be a sprint in the last, furlong to see who's got the fastest turn of foot. And so if this was me, I think a Sham Rocket horse is somebody I'm probably not going to use. I'm probably looking more towards No Word and Serve the King to come from just off of the pace here and see if they can run these down. I know the chat was giving Soldiers Rising a little bit of love as well. And so this is a Clement horse without Davis. It's got an Ortiz aboard, which can't be a bad thing, not knocking the Ortiz brothers. But, this is another horse that I think could have some late kick and make things interesting. I would love to be able to, have multiple in this race. And you bring up a good point. If you can really narrow this down, and on our show, we talked about this in the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile, of if you had an opinion, that was an all race for a lot of people in the sequence. Or the distaff. If you had a strong opinion in the distaff, which was also an all race for a lot of people, you could really, really make up some ground.
Yeah, if you were right in the distaff with your opinion, wow, you really made up some ground. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to play just 7-2 here. I may add No Word the 9 or the 3 Soldiers Rising, but I'm probably going to stop at 2, maybe go to 3 or 4. But for me, I think the 7 Channel Cat's a must use. I don't see how you don't use that horse with it. What I believe will be a tactical advantage up front. And then I'm going to be looking at the 2, the 9, and the 3 as the other possibles here.
All right. There you have it. And we've got 5 minutes till Charlestown. So we can watch these horses circle in the paddock. I always love going to the track in person and going to the paddock and seeing if my horse is sweating or not. It backfired on me Breeders' Cup weekend because the horse that we faded sweated down to his heels, but they gave him a bath right before he went out there, and Joel skips to the lead and says, see you later. So that was the one time that angle hasn't worked. What are you looking for in the paddock here? Are you just looking for the horse to be calm? Have you already made your betting decision regardless of what's going on in the paddock?
So I am not a good looking at horse person. I'm just like, so you got to know your strengths and weaknesses as a handicapper and a horse person. Like the sweating one, I think, is definitely one that's pretty easy to notice, but you can get thrown off by the bath thing. But obviously, you don't want a horse to be too hot. But for me, like I'm more of the analytical paper side, and I like. Hopefully my horse is ready to run that day, or hopefully the ones I'm fading aren't. But I rarely will go down and look in the paddock. I'm usually just handicapping off numbers and past performances and hoping that gets me home. Mm-hmm. Have you been to Charlestown?
I have not been to Charlestown. Not yet.
We got to do like a good chalk, bad chalk road show. Get like an RV and have like a big sign on the side, like college football game day or something. I've never been to Charlestown. I've been quite a few tracks, but never Charlestown. I'd love to go at some point.
No, that'd be a lot of fun. Host our college game day type of, show right there in the paddock. It'd be really cool. No, I haven't been there. There's a bunch of tracks that are still kind of on my bucket list. I haven't been to Belmont yet. I have not been to Oaklawn. Oaklawn's up there. I've got to get out there. That hotel that's in the first turn, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. You wake up in the morning, you can watch horses train. I mean, come on. For guys like us, what more is there to want?
I've heard that Charlestown is a very interesting place to be. Well, I heard it's a very wonderful people watching situation, and also you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble down there.
Well, Steve's car broke down. So we need to hear more of that story, Steve. You can't just say that and then not tell us the details. Come on.
Now we sure broke down,
Yeah. Hey, you call your wife. It's like, hey, honey, I'm broke down at Charlestown. I'm trying to call an Uber, but there's none available. So I'll be at the track for about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. All the Uber drivers are there till the last race, and then they jump in the car. I would love to go to Charlestown at some point. It would be an absolute blast. All right. Race number 6, Charlestown. You took a look at this one. What was your takeaway here?
I did. So the pace number really opened my eyes on this one, and I'm looking at a horse that's a decent little non-chalk price. The 7 Strong Safety, as football's on a Thursday night, at 4-1 right now. He's got the top pace number at 95, which is blazing fast. We got horses like, I think of what Golden Pal was like a 99. So anything in the 90s is really fast. And what I'm looking for is a decent amount of separation. And so if I can get about a 15 to a 20 point separation in any of these numbers, whether that's the GSR or the pace number, SOR, we usually don't see that big of a difference. Usually like an 8 to 10 point drop in an SOR is a nice class drop. But, this horse is 18 points faster than the 3, which is the second fastest horse, which is 24 points faster than the 5. So I'm looking for the 7 to have a huge pace advantage. You're getting a price at 4-1. And if you look at the win percentage algorithm, he's also at the top at 39%. And as we know in horse racing, favorites only win about 33% of the time. So you got a horse that's not the favorite that the algo thinks is more than a favorite, and he's going to have a pace advantage. I'm all over the 7.
Yeah, it's also first off a claim, going to a better barn. Last time out was $2.60. Beat a couple of the horses in here. You've got a 20% jockey. So there's a lot of different reasons to like the 7 here. I am really interested to see how this race plays out. I mentioned, I kind of teased it earlier, that sometimes you have different numbers here. Time Form has the 3 faster than the 7. And when you look at the internal numbers, it's going to be pretty close. So I'm interested to see here if the Equinedge algorithm is correct about the 7, or if the 3 and the 7 are about the same. When I kind of went through it, I think the 3 and the 7 are going to get out together. I think you're going to see them kind of duel up front and knock heads. I'm not sure who will prevail. In this type of situation, I would generally lean toward the inside horse, and that's why I use the 1 and the 3 here in my pick 4. I think that the 3 is pretty dangerous and the chance to go wire to wire. I think the 1 horse is going to get just the cap or a trip here, and the EE picks algorithm here agrees with me. The 1's going to come from a little bit off the pace. It should get a nice setup with these 2 speed horses in front of it. Last time did run 3rd to the 7 Strong Safety and finished behind Majestic C as well, who is the 4. 3 of those are coming out of the same race. But the race before, 2 back before that, the 1 horse was able to get the job done against the 7. So I think that the 1 horse got a little bit worse of a trip. I think you're going to see the 7 take more pressure. And I'm going to take the 1 from off the pace here. And then I think that the 3, the 5, and the 7 are the other horses that I would use underneath if I was going to play some exotics. But I'm going to play the 1 on top.
All right, this 5 horse, isn't this the horse that won at Gulfstream Park on something Day Caribe Day? It's like their Claiming Crown weekend, where this horse was like, this was way back. I'm thinking of like 2 years ago. the same name for this horse. I don't know. Sometimes you get horses named the same thing that run in. This was a South American horse, but it was hilarious because this horse was like 1-9, and Irad was riding this horse, and the other 4 jockeys, it's almost like they pulled their horses back to let this one go. It's like he was like fixed to. I mean, races aren't fixed, right? And he just absolutely lapsed the field. Only. I'll pull up that video for next time. I'll have it ready. But remember this horse.
It is not this horse. It is not this horse, but the name is very similar. I do remember the horse you're talking about.
Yeah,
but yeah. No,
he was from South America or something like that, or Puerto Rico. I don't know where it was from.
I think it was Mexico.
Yeah. Do you worry about the class level of this 3? When I pull up the SOR algorithm, it shows the 3s coming out of 32 races, and the majority of these are coming out of mid 40s. Does that concern you? The class level that the 3's coming out of?
This is one of the important things you have to look at. Go back to that main page and go to lifetime record, right? Sometimes with the algorithm, you got to understand that the number of races can skew it, right? And so the last race was specifically a maiden claiming race, and that this is the first time against winners for the 3. That's what's skewing that SOR, right? And you can see there it's only got 2 starts compared to no one else in this field is less than 10 except for the 1 horse. So the SOR is skewed because of that one specific race where you're coming out of a maiden claiming level. And that's also the reason why this pace number is a little tough, because the 3 was able to get the lead against maiden claimers going 22.46, whereas the 7 has been going 22.46 against winners. So you have a little bit different level and different pace setups, and that's what makes this a little more murky than some other situations. You have to be able to say, okay, I believe speed is speed, right? So it doesn't matter who you're running against. If you run a 22, you can run a 22. And that's my argument for why the 3 is I think will be right there with the 7. However, the strength of race, I mean, obviously he ran that against a much worse field last time.
No, absolutely. And sample size matters, because the sire of Medina Spirit, I believe, doesn't have a whole lot of progeny yet. And so, we were able to see a very high GSR number after the Kentucky Derby with Medina Spirit. And so, the algorithms are constantly learning and adjusting themselves. And so it does give the 3 some respect in the win column. 16% is not bad. The public really likes the 3, betting it down to 3-2. And so, when you have 2 speed horses, one's 9-2, one's 3-2, we'll see which one actually goes out and grabs the lead, and which one can carry on maybe. I know you like the 1 from a little bit off the pace as well. So this is a good race. We'll see how it all plays out here in a couple of minutes at Charlestown. Right.
Yeah, this should be a fun. Let us know. It looks like we got some people in the chat here. We got Jared who on the 5 here, and Jared, congratulations again. He hit the early pick 4 at Aqueduct today for $10,000. That doesn't suck on a 50-cent ticket. So congratulations, Jared. Way to go. We got Steve here, 5 and 7. I don't disagree with those 2. Down here we got Joe who likes the 4 from off the pace. I think the 4, you're getting a pretty good value here, especially if you look at just the Equinedge algorithms. 24% win percentage. 3-1 morning line, you're getting 5-1 off. The 4 has been right behind the 7 the last 2 races. I'm talking like a nose behind the 7. So definitely a player there when you compare the odds, just simply the odds. I'm surprised the 7 is at 9-2 right now. That to me is a little bit surprising that we're that high of odds right now. But we are walking toward the gate here now. I'm going to punch in. I played the 1 to win, and I'm going to play a 1 with 3-4 with 3-4-7 try as well.
There you have it. I mean, we were kind of surprised that Nick's Go was 3-1 for about an hour, and he stayed at 3-1 the whole time. And so it's crazy. I still think back to that Breeders' Cup day, and you saw it in the wheel pace. You're like, look, Essential Quality is getting hammered in the 2-day wheel pace from the Juvenile to the Classic, and so we all knew that Essential Quality was going to be the favorite, even though Nick's Go was the morning line favorite. And I don't know. I think it was everybody kind of handicapped a pace duel that never really happened. Is what it was. And you had to look at race tactics. Bob Baffert's like, running second in the Classic, I know if I go with that horse, I run a chance of running off the board. But if I do what I did against Life is Good when Medina Spirit was the quote-unquote blocker horse until Life is Good got hurt, then he was Bob's speed horse. He ran second in those races. And so tactics and intentions, I wish we could hear jockey instructions, or can we get an algorithm for that? For tactics.
Why don't we have mic'd up? You have mic'd up for all these sports games, right? Why don't we mic up the jockeys and once they're on the horse, it's not like someone's going to radio in with the other like the instructions from the other trainers. It'd be great to hear that stuff as they're on the track, hear what the instructions were from the trainer, the owner. I think that'd be a blast. Yeah, I think the Breeders' Cup is a great example of just sometimes when you have that much time to think about a race, you just overthink it. I think a lot of people just overthought that race and kind of came up with these scenarios in their head where Nick Sko doesn't walk. And he kind of just walked out there.
Or they compared it to the distaff, which was two totally different run races where you had three horses going out for the lead because all three of them wanted it and needed the lead to win. Our miking up jockeys would be fantastic. I would love to hear Paco and Irad mic'd up for all of Gulfstream. We might have to sell it on pay-per-view, but that would be very entertaining.
I still want celebrity boxing jockeys. Like they do it for the PDJF. They do like the whatchamacallit, they do karaoke and they do all these different fundraisers. What would you do for a PDJF jockey boxing night? I mean, come on, it'd be incredible. It'd be incredible. All right, here we go. Let's see how this plays out. And the 3 did not break well, so the 7 should get loose here. We'll see if anyone else sends with them. The 3, they're going to push through that hole.
And the 7's working hard to try to clear. All right, now he's going to give him a little bit of a breather. Still got 4-1 there. The 4 took a lot of money late.
4-1 looks like a great number on him now.
It's like the jockey's kind of fighting the 3 a little bit.
Yeah.
And the 4's in a really good spot. The 7 looks like he's going to speed and fade. He worked so hard to try to get the lead, and I don't know, he used a lot of energy here. Let's see if he can re-break.
22-1 is pretty fast for these horses. Let's see what the 5 is just
at the 5 on the outside. Here they come to mow him down. Looks like the 1's running late too to maybe pick up some pieces.
Yeah, he's not going to get up there though. The 5 gets it done.
C-Money said that the Mexican horse bred Cuckoo Clan won the Copa de Caribe by daylight at Gulfstream. I would love to watch that replay. I mean, I swear that 4 jockeys literally didn't give their horse a chance to win. It was like it was fixed. But there we go. Okay, the 7 was kind of a pretender there. I mean, he got the lead, and maybe they went pretty fast, and the 5 just absolutely set the trip. So I think Steven had that one. So good call there, Steven, on the 5.
Yeah, 22 flat is trouble for that horse. Anytime that horse has gone 22 flat, it's given it up. Last race was the one time it hadn't. But other than that, every 22 flat was a problem.
Now there's the long shot play coming in again. Last race it was in second to blow up that exacta. Let's see what that exacta paid last race. If you had the top pick with the long shot play, if we go over here to the screen. That exacta paid, oh my gosh, $17 was all it paid. That seems terrible for a 31-1 shot under I guess he was 2-5. So you got some value there. But man, I thought that would have paid a little bit more. Yeah. Cool. Good call there, Steve, on the 5 there. He was bet down to half of his morning line. So that's usually a good sign. Maybe that's some barn money coming in. 6% win. So we really weren't looking on that algorithm, but the equine edge long shot play liked it. And tactfully, the horse was supposed to sit third. And so he let the 4, the 3, and the 7 all kind of go up front. And then he just sat a perfect trip. And the jockey is very patient there before he actually made his move.
Yep. And you kind of had those 4 horses, the 3, 4, 7, 5 there with the higher speed numbers. And like you said, the 5 was the only one who didn't send. And that kind of was the difference in the race there, where the 5 was able to sit right behind those 4 speed horses. Also, when you look at it, was dropping out of $30,000 allowance races into $10,000 claiming. So that was your class dropper for that race as well.
Absolutely. All right, let's go from East Coast stakes races to Kentucky, and then we'll finish up at Del Mar and then get you guys the last race over at Charlestown before we sign off tonight. Let's see here.
It's a $14 winner there. $14, $5.80, $3.80 on the 5 horse. So congratulations to everyone who had that 5. And the exacta will be nice here too. Exacta comes back $23 for $1, 5-4.
Not bad. You ever been to Churchill Downs, Mike?
I have.
Derby Day, Oaks Day, Breeders' Cup?
Breeders' Cup. I've been for the Breeders' Cup 3 times. First Breeders' Cup ever, actually, was 1994. Got to see Concern win the Classic. Serena's Song was in the juvenile fillies. It was actually a really good year. Flanders was there. It was a wonderful year. I mean, I'm going to say something that's I don't know, maybe a hot take. I'm not sure. I'm not a Churchill fan. I don't like that racetrack at all. Not even a little bit. Like, I get it. The Derby's there. That's cool. There's some mystique around Churchill Downs. Arlington's a nicer track than Churchill is.
Tell that to CDI. Anyway, I like Churchill because there's like 175,000 seats and there's only ever like 10,000 people there. So I can buy my general admission ticket and sit, on the 4th level. So I'm notorious for being
Belmont then.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would agree. I went to the Derby and the Oaks twice now. I was there for Justify's Kentucky Derby, and that was cool. Ruined my clothes, but I guess I got to see a Triple Crown winner. And then I was there for the Breeders' Cup in 2018 to see an Able newspaper of record. That was cool. I didn't know hardly anything about horse racing back then, so I was relying on my friends, which was great. And then I went to the Derby in 2019 and got to see Maximum Security cross the wire first, and then that 22-minute debacle. And what was crazy is that we watched the race, and I had all 3 Baffert's horses. I had Tacitus, Code of Honor, oh my gosh, pretty much everybody but Maximum Security and Country House. I mean, we were live in the pick 5 to like 11 horses in that race. Wow. And so we were pissed, and we
11 horses.
Yeah, we had 11 horses, and we played a group ticket, and we didn't hit the
first
winner.
or second.
We didn't have the first of this. We were thinking like, oh, we had War of Will. We're like, why couldn't War of Will not get like steadied and go on and get 3rd or 2nd? Code of Honor got 3rd that year, but so we were pissed. And we're like, let's get out of here. One guy had to work that night, and then the other guy had kids, and so we're like, we got to get back. And so we go get our things, and we have no clue what's going on. We're like gathering our things, have our 12 Derby drink cups. We're like, oh, we can play beer pong with these. This is gonna be great. Yep. And then we start walking out, and everybody's like looking at the screen still. We're like, why is this not official yet? And then we're like, oh my, there's an inquiry, huh? So then like we were walking out, and we found out that the horse got disqualified when we were in the parking lot. So I kind of wish we would have stayed for about 15 more minutes. I don't know if there was a lot of booze that day. Definitely not more booze than the Modern Game situation a couple of years ago. That was a couple of weeks ago at the Breeders' Cup. That was crazy. I've never seen or heard a racetrack boo like they did on that Breeders' Cup Friday.
Yeah, the Modern Games thing was a shit show. It was a slap in the face to the people that were betting the race. It's ridiculous. The Maximum Security thing, the problem was it took 28 minutes.
Yeah,
that horse should have come down in 30 seconds. Like, and if you make the change quickly, there's not this whole controversy around it,
right? If it's at any other track on any other day, any other level of race, that horse comes down. He came out 5
immediately,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you come back and you make the change in 30 seconds, and then you have a press conference, why'd you change it? Because he clearly fouled the horse. It's over, right? But because you wait 22, 28 minutes, you create all these different scenarios in people's heads that, I'm going to win. Always going to stay up. It's like, no, you need to make definitive correct decisions quickly. And that was a very, very slow correct decision, which caused a lot of shit to roll downhill.
Wow. So Oldie had an Oaks Derby double that he got DQ'd out of. So Oldie was probably celebrating for a good 5-10 minutes. And then reality set in. He had Serengeti Empress into Maximum Security. That had to be paying nice because Max was like 9-2. And was Serengeti, she wasn't the favorite, was she, in that Oaks? I don't think so.
I don't think she was, no.
No.
I think she was a price.
Yeah, that's an awesome double. But I don't know. I don't think people talk about it much anymore because of what ended up happening with the service barn. So it's kind of like, all right, justice was served, more ways than one. 21-1 is what Serengeti Empress was. Awesome.
Yeah, I believe it. Because she had just given it up on the lead in previous races. And so that was going wire to wires. It was surprising there. All right, let's head over to Churchill here, talk a little Saturday action.
All right, Churchill race 10. We've got the grade 3. How would you say this? The Chilukki Stakes?
Chilukki.
Sounds like a Mario Kart character. But anyway, obligatory, I believe.
Do you know the horse Chilukki? Chilukki is a Bob Baffert horse. So that there's some. The race is named after one of Bob Baffert's horses at Churchill Downs.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the irony here. I saw on Twitter today that Medina Spirit has an update with the sample, and so we might be getting some news soon in the next 10 years. Who knows?
We'll find out, let's right before the next Derby.
Exactly. Obligatory is your 5-2 favorite, and I gave this horse a big chance last time out at Keeneland in the Ravens run. Broke from the 11 post last time out. And so it's kind of like, all right, maybe it was a post thing for this horse. I think a deserving favorite going a 1-turn mile. Mike, where did you land here?
Well, not on obligatory. I think this horse is just a fraud, man. Like the race that everyone points back to is the 8 Bells here at Churchill Downs. That was one of the most classic pace collapse races I've ever seen. If you go back and watch the replay, they went way too fast up front. Obligatory came from off the screen to get the win. It's just a perfect setup. And she's not gotten that setup since. I don't believe she's going to get that setup today. There's just not a lot of speed in this race. When you look at the Equinedge speed numbers there, like 72 for a mile at Churchill, that's pretty soft. And the 8 horse, was your other speed horse, is a speed horse on turf. Like this is the first time this horse has run dirt in a while. So give me the 1 horse She Can't Sing. I think either She Can't Sing makes the lead and is loose, or sits right behind the 8, and they have to play catch up. So and that Peter Miller thing was incredible, man. Like, yeah,
he's taking a sabbatical.
Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, I need to spend time with my family. Okay, Peter.
Soul searching.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So She Can't Sing, I think, is a great price at 6-1. I'm not sure if we get 6-1 on race day. This horse has been on the improve. So if we can continue to take steps forward, I think She Can't Sing is really dangerous in this spot. And again, like I said, there's just not a lot of pace in this race. And this horse will either control the speed, or will be sitting in the perfect cappered seat behind a long shot who I don't think can make the distance on dirt. So I think the 1 is going to be sitting in a great spot. I do think the 3, Matera, is the other main threat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I like your point on the 1 here. We've got a long shot play, 6-1 morning line, and this is a paceless race. And this 1 horse is a true sprinter. And so, whether you're going 6 furlongs, 1 turn, or 8 furlongs, 1 turn, this is just an elongated sprint. And a lot of people think a mile race is like always a route race. Not at Churchill. It's an 8 furlong sprint race is essentially what it is. And so I'm more of a believer a horse is either a 1-turn horse or a 2-turn horse, rather than a horse is a sprinter or a router. So I don't think the distance is going to be an issue for She Can't Sing. This is a Chris Block horse, and I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of these Chicago trainers coming down to Churchill, coming down to Turfway in the wintertime, shipping into Keeneland for the spring and fall meets because, well, Arlington's really not going to be a thing anymore. And Block's a great trainer up at Arlington. I expect to see a lot of his horses, a lot of Ravelli horses coming into a lot of these spots here shortly. I do like the 1 a lot. I like the 3 Matera. Brad Cox and Florent Giroux, you really can't bat an eye at and leave them off your ticket because they will beat you a lot. I'm against obligatory here. Past the plate, what is he doing in this race? This is a turf horse. And I'm like, I love this horse on the turf. He's a deep closer in a paceless race on the dirt. So it's kind of like they're trying something completely new to try to wake this horse up, is what they're trying here. And so I don't know, man. Maybe if She Can't Sing gets a clear lead, though, I just don't see anybody really running her down. I love Past the Plate on the turf. I bet him every single time, and I've lost the last 8 or 9. So maybe this is the new bull. Who knows? Sally Curlin, Dale Romans, really not interested in either. Miss Bigley, it looks like it has a little bit of tactical speed, but no, I'm not for it. And then we got to look at Princess Causeway here, who, like you had said, is turf speed and now going to dirt as well. I always pull up the GSR Plus on some of these horses, and I'll compare the turf number to the dirt number, and it looks like this horse should be able to do either. Same with Past the Plate. We only have a 1-point differential from the turf to the turf. Not the turf. That's the golf street turf. The turf.
When you mentioned that, you look at so I'm a DRF guy. I mentioned that I used Equinedge, I used DRF, used Timeform. If you look at the buyers for Past the Plate, they're pretty on par when she's run on the dirt with what she's done on the turf. Like if you look at the 2-year-old buyers, they're pretty on par for one or the other. The same with the 3-year-old buyers. So I think that Past the Plate could handle the dirt here. The pace, I think, is a little bit of an issue. I wouldn't be shocked if Past the Plate mucks it up and ends up in 3rd or 4th. Like I could totally see this horse being a price underneath. I'll probably use Past the Plate in 3rd, on the 3rd spot in my tries, not the 1st or 2nd, but probably the 3rd. The 4 I think is interesting. I really agree with the comment that obligatory will be overbet in this spot. I think this race is a lot more wide open, and I think obligatory is going to go off at sub 2-1. And I think that is a mistake from the betting perspective. Hey,
there you go. Maybe she's a fraud. Maybe she's not. She gets Rosario up for Juddmonte Farms. And so I know Joel's, it's interesting. He's going to Churchill for this meet. Not usually a Rosario thing. Do you think it's to try to get a few easier stakes wins? Because he's really close to the title or for the record for what is it, graded stakes wins in a year?
I think he might be trying to be Brad Cox's guy.
Okay.
I think that he might be going to because you have Irad's Chad's guy. You got these for a long time Santana was Asmussen's guy. That seems like that might be changing. I think he might want to be Brad's guy. I think that might be the play here because he's gotten some pretty good horses, Nick's Go and a couple others with Cox. I think that might be the reason why he's in Kentucky now, is to try and hitch his wagon to that barn.
Yeah, and with the style of runners that Brad Cox often has on the dirt are speed horses, and Joel's been on a ton of speed horses recently. I mean, if you look at horses like Jackie's Warrior, like Nick's Go, just to name a few. I mean, I remember at Saratoga and Traverse Day, Rosario was on like 3 or 4 speed horses, and he went through this period of summer in like June or July where he couldn't break a horse to save his life. I mean, there was like a 4 or 5 week span where he just couldn't get out of the gate, and he was on all these speed horses.
Yeah, tell me about it. Cost me that Texas tournament, man.
Lone Star.
Asmussen, on Warriors Charge in the mile. Part of the thing, Rosario's getting some really good mounts from Asmussen as well, and with Santana seeming to fall out of favor, you go to Kentucky, and if you're Rosario and you can get top mounts from Asmussen, you can get top mounts from Cox. Like, that's a pretty good spot to be versus fighting for the second tier mounts in the Pletcher and Brown Barns up in New York.
There you go. There you have it. Let's go to Del Mar. This is the last stakes race that we'll be covering today, and this is the Native Diver, and Bob Baffert has almost half the field. Oh, he's only got 3. Sorry.
Only 3. No worries.
Only 3. This is going 9 furlongs, 2 turns, grade 3. To Baffert or not to Baffert?
To Baffert. I think 8 Rings is the controlling speed here, and I think 8 Rings takes some wire to wire. So I will take the chalk, and I will take the Baffert chalk. The problem is Axeman, as you can see, is the second controlling speed. And guess what? 8 Rings and Axeman are not going to vie for the lead. Mike Smith is riding Axeman. You'd expect 8 Rings is going to go out and make the lead. You get established on the rails coming out of some sprints, maybe a threat to make the lead, but in my mind is more cheap speed, and I just think 8 Rings is going to take this field gate to wire. I actually like Azul Coast quite a bit as well. The 5 horse should sit an absolute perfect trip here. If there is a pace battle up front and there's something that manifests between the 1, the 7, and the 6, Azul Coast, I think, is the horse that's going to be able to take the most advantage of it. So I'm probably mainly 5, 6 here. I might sprinkle a little 8 in there too. Kiss today goodbye, coming from off the pace as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going with Baffert here too, except I'm going with Azul Coast on top, and I'll tell you why. I'm hoping that 8 Rings is still crying in his stall about the beatdown that he received against Life is Good. That's my thing. I'm hoping he's having like a Life is Good hangover. It was just 2 weeks ago. And so they're wheeling this horse back. He got embarrassed. Axeman's a workmate, in my opinion. I mean, he's a workmate. Wasn't he like game winner's workmate 2 or 3 years ago? Is this the same horse I'm thinking of?
He's a pretty good horse.
He's got Mike Smith aboard, so I'm downgrading there. Azul Coast gets Pratt. And I've been following Azul Coast. It's a Pegram Watson horse for a couple of years now. And I'm just going with a gut play here. This is the 8 Rings has a clear pace advantage. He has a tactical trainer pace advantage. And so you know that nobody else is going to go with him. And none of the other non-Baffert horses really have that much speed. I mean, you could say Established has speed, but he doesn't have Baffert type of speed. And so I'm hoping that 8 Rings just gets a little exhausted on the front end. This horse had problems early on in his career, even when he was sprinting, breaking his maiden. And so this was the horse that jumped Drayden Van Dyke over the rail, and he was injured for a while because of that. And so I don't know. I think this horse is more of a sprinter than he is a 2-turn type. And so I'm going to go with Azul Coast to get a little other Baffert upset.
I can get behind that.
All right, let's do it. All right, let's head over to Charlestown for our nightcapper. Hopefully you guys are still playing and winning, and we'll see where we go after this race. I know we're maybe talking to a few tracks, but we're going to try to provide some nightly racing on Thursdays for you guys as the winter months go along. We've got a 6.5 furlong fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up going at Charlestown. Who do you like here, Mike?
Well, I got to say, I watched a significant amount of replays for this race, which is something I've never done at Charlestown before in my life. And one of the ones that I thought was pretty interesting was the last race for Take Me Home, My Lovely Girl, and Complete Surprise. Complete Surprise is the 1 horse. My Lovely Girl is the 4. Take Me Home is the 6. The 6 was your morning line favorite, and the horse I expected to go off as the favorite. Looks like the 5 horse, Sling and Sammy B, is going to be the favorite. But that was a tale of post positions. The 6 horse was the inside horse on that day and was able to take the field wire to wire because of the post position. So I have a feeling that the 4 horse, so the 4 and the 6 were about the same speed. The 1 was a little bit slower. I think the 4 is the fastest horse in this race. I actually agree with the pace numbers here, even though the 4 didn't get the lead against the 6 last time out. I think because of the post position, that's going to flip. I think the 4 is really dangerous to go wire to wire here. I have the 4 on top. I thought the 5 and the 6 were the underneath horses. And 5-1 is a pretty generous price on a horse that has a significant pace advantage. And look at the win percentage there at 30% as well. So I'm going to land on the 4 horse here, and hopefully we can get a 5-1 wire to wire winner to close out the night.
6-1 now. Just clicked up a little bit. So I agree. I had the 4 listed as the speed of the speed at a 90. It was a 16-point pace advantage over the second horse and over a 22-point pace advantage over the third horse, the 6 here. To me, there's a few horses in here that have burnt some money. I think the 5's taking a lot of money. I don't want him as the favorite. The 3's taking a lot of money. And so those horses would prefer maybe a little bit more of a chasing setup to sit mid-pack, sitting 3rd, 4th, or 5th, and then pounce. I'm just wondering who's going to actually press this 4. And if the 4 gets loose, 6-1's a great price if you can catch me if you can here. And so I went with the 4 on top as well. I think his figures fit as far as an SOR perspective on who he's faced previously. And, I like him at this distance. He ran well 3 back at this distance at the same level. And so he was dueled in that effort. So if he can maybe just get a little bit more free today, could get the job done. So we will see.
I expect that the 4 and the 6 are going to go together. The 1 horse is an interesting horse because you see that pace number, and a lot of times I'll be interested in that second horse right behind the leader because you get a good trip, especially at these tracks. Where if that horse goes a little too fast, comes back, the horse in second place gets first run, you're able to have the lead at the top of the stretch. But the 4 horse needs the lead to win. If you look at those past lines, at no point does he win a race passing horses. Every single time he either gets passed late or he's up in the lead. Because the 1 won't make the lead, I think the 1 is a complete chuck. I don't think the 1 can win the race because the 1 can't make the lead. So that's one of those things I look for where you have a horse that has speed, but if it's a need the lead horse, and I think the 1 is a need the lead, you're not going to get it. It's tough to use that horse in my mind.
Absolutely. We love tossing horses too. Half the battle is finding out who not to use in a multi-race wager. We had a couple of good questions here in the chat right now. Steven's asking, who do we think will be the Eclipse best jockey of the year? I'm going with Rosario. I don't know how you can deny that because of the graded stakes wins, the Pegasus win, the Breeders' Cup Classic win. If it's, per start, you got to go William Buick. What's he, 3 for 4 here in the U.S. this year? Is he 4 for 4? Or I don't know. He made $3.7 million in 4 races.
Wasn't he on Modern Games too? Does that count?
Ask McPeak.
I think I agree. I think it's got to be Rosario, and I'm a known Rosario, not hater, but like he's just not as consistent as I'd like him to be. But he's clearly been on. He has won more money than anyone this year, purse money. He has won more graded stakes than anyone this year, and he's had the best horses. Let's be honest. I mean, Jackie's Warrior and Nick's Go are not 2 bad horses not to have, but he has been exceptional in the big spots. I mean, the only race that you can really point to and say that it's a whoops race would be the Rock Your World race, where his feet were out of the stirrups, right? So, other than that, he's been solid in those big races, and I think he is winning purse money and graded stakes wins, which should set him apart.
Yeah, looks like Steve's taken Luis Saez. So Saez had a great summer at Saratoga. I think that's the name of a horse as well, Summer at Saratoga. But as far as putting the whole year together, he had essential quality the whole year. I just think Rosario's complete resume for the year just stands taller over everybody else. I mean, you got to look at Irad. He has his hot weeks, hot moments in his big races, but Joel's flying all over the country, all over the world, getting it done. And I just don't think there's been anybody better this year. I think Saez had the best summer, but Rosario had the best year.
I would love an ROI calculator, a way to calculate like best jockey versus off odds. Because I think that Rosario, I like Rosario as much as the next guy, but like Rosario's horses seem to win at short, like his big winners are short prices. They should win those races. Horses like Nick's Go, Jackie's Warrior, those type of horses. I would love to see Alpha Zulu. I'd love to see or Echo Zulu. I'm sorry. I'd love to see what odds Saez won at in some of those summer races because he was coming in with bombs compared to even money shots. It'd be interesting to see who performed best versus the expected mean, right? Of the results of their horses to see how much they actually improved the horse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Saez had pretty much wrapped up the jockey title. He was in the mid 40s, and he was still going off at 4 and 5 to 1 on these horses, and he wasn't getting respected from the betting public. Whereas Rosario, a lot, look at Jackie's Warrior going off at like 2 to 5, and
Yeah.
he wins. But it's always a head scratcher. Like that week that Rosario was at Kentucky Downs. Oh my God! It didn't matter what he was on.
Yeah.
He was just on fire. He could have rode a mule to victory at 25 to 1. And so those are always the ones where you kick yourself. You're like, really? I just let Rosario beat me at like 20 to 1. You kidding?
It's awfully interesting when you see those jockeys shipped to certain places, and you get to see the top tier New York, California guys go into, a Lone Star Park, for example, and see them ride there for a weekend. You're like, wow. Okay. Yep. Nope. It makes a difference.
Absolutely. Looks like they're still kind of walking around, getting back towards the gate. We got 13 to 0 in the Pats Falcons football game. And so the Falcons, I don't know, have they moved the ball past the 50-yard line yet tonight?
I don't care. I like this under.
I like the Pats. I think Harris is getting his yards. I still need a Harris touchdown. That would be nice. He's coming off a concussion protocol, so I don't know if they're being easy with him tonight or if he's getting the touches, but I wouldn't be mad if he scored a TD here on this drive.
We're pulling. Well, they're punting.
I'm a little behind.
They might not make it to 30. Or Harris is 7 for 41 right now.
Okay. I need him at 53 and a touchdown. So let's get that done before the fourth quarter.
All right. So we everyone in the chat here. So I'm on the 5, but no, I'm sorry. I'm on the 4 here. Brady, you're on the 4 as well?
I'm on the 4 as well. We're going with the speed.
Who's everyone on the chat here? We got the 1 speed here. We got a key box 4 with a 5, 6, 7. I can get behind that. Anyone else here on who they like? I think I'm going to play a 4-5 with 4-5-6 with 4-5-6 try as well. See if we can get a little something home there.
Hammer it home. And Nathan's asking, what's your favorite winter track between Fairgrounds, Tampa, Oaklawn? I like Oaklawn, man. I don't know. Tampa was interesting last year too. You got to see a lot of trainers kind of ship some. Like Chad sent some good horses to Tampa this year, I thought, which he doesn't normally do. I mean, you had a lot of his horses going to Tampa. Oaklawn, there's no turf racing. I'm a huge turf guy, but it's kind of neat seeing all the dirt race and I mean just the culture at Oaklawn. I just feel is awesome there, and all the money that they've spent, making the facility what it is. So. I mean, I haven't been to any of those 3 tracks. Fairgrounds, I'm sorry. If you watch a turf sprint at Fairgrounds, you don't know who's in the lead for the first 20 seconds because of all those trees. Cut your trees down, Fairgrounds. Let's go, man. I mean, there's 2 furlongs where you lose. I mean, the announcer doesn't even know who's in first. So I got to go Oaklawn.
I've been to Oaklawn. I love Oaklawn. It's a lot of fun to go to. Wonderful track to go to. Very cool. We were talking about the hotel around the turn. It's awesome. The people there love horse racing. Again, that's one of the things I love about Keeneland, for example, is you can just feel the love for horse racing. Same for Saratoga. Betting wise, I mean, I'm a turf guy, so I got to go Tampa. That to me is of those the 3 best turf. I also know the Florida circuit better. So from a betting perspective, I like Tampa Bay the most out of those 3. But if you want to visit one, I would go with Oaklawn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although
I love the Florida circuit
in Arkansas in the winter, isn't it? We're going to see some snow on the ground, right?
Yeah, they had to take 1 or 2 weeks off of training last year because of snow. So you had all these horses trying to prep for a big race, and so you knew. Well, did my horse even get out and gallop for the last week? Did he even get to exercise? you didn't know. You had to look at that angle. I mean, Whitmore was out there. I mean, Marquette's got his stable out there. Asmussen has a lot of horses out there. Diodoro. And so, man, this is a 2-turn race at Charlestown. This is rare.
Well, it's 6.5, man. It's got to be 2 turns.
6.5, 2 turns. Oh, man. We'll see what we can get here. They're starting to load into the gate. I like the Florida tracks in the wintertime. Championship meet Gulfstream is kind of I don't know. That was one of the first actual meets that I got into a couple of years ago. And I don't know if it was, I saw Irad win every single race one day at 4 to 5. I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. He can do whatever he wants. He can bully people and not get taken down. I was like, I want to bet this guy. He can cut somebody off and, the stewards aren't going to take him down. So he's a great jockey to bet. Horrible if you have the person that was affected by the rough riding. But Gulfstream Championship meet it hits home for me. I go down to South Florida quite a bit in the wintertime, and so you can find me at Gulfstream most days.
Yeah, my most profitable track over the last 3 years has been Gulfstream, and I only play it during champion meet. That's been my best track. I think there's a wonderful edges you can get if you pay attention to when certain trainers debut horses, certain jockeys that pick up certain horses for certain trainers. There's some inside pool stuff. If you pay enough attention, I think you really get an edge. And I also think if you pay attention, and this is something you got to do, you got to pay attention to the rails on the turf course and if they're in or out, because that can make a huge difference on who has advantages via the speed or horses coming off the pace over that Gulfstream turf.
I remember Pegasus Day. All the carded races were on like the inner turf, except for the Pegasus World Cup turf. That was on the outer. The outer turf played normal, where the inside turf was like hard as a rock. They had been watering that because I was there all week. They had been watering the outside turf a lot more. It was more green. It was like lush compared to the inside dirt turf, or whatever you want to call it. So looks like we're all in line. Can't wait for Gulfstream. All right, and they're off.
Here we go. Let's see who makes the lead.
The 6.
Well, see, the question, none of them's going to clear, though. See, now the 4th guy, the 1 is causing the trouble with the 4.
All right, let's see what the 4 goes and tries to take the lead now.
Yeah.
Never like being too wide on a track like this because the turns are so tight and you don't want to kind of blow the turn. And so it looks like the 4 is going to get his lead now. Let's see if he can kind of back it down and slow this thing up a little bit.
So it's 23-3, so they're going about the same as they went last time these horses faced each other.
And this 1 looks pretty comfortable on this inside spot. We'll see. It's like the 4's starting to pull away, though.
I like that.
Wow, here we go. 4-1.
Just keep it going. Hold it together here, 4. Just hold it together. If we can get the 5 and the 6 up for second and third, it'd be a great way to close the night.
Where's the 6
5,
at?
6.
All right, the 5's coming. All right, just need to get by this 1. Looks like this 1's got a little bit left.
Let's just keep the 5 up top now, or the 4 up top. Just get the 4 home. Have the winner to close the night. Just stay
4-5. 4-5. There we go. 4-1 winner to
4-1.
There we go. 4-1 low speed. Remember that time that we got 4-1 on that horse at Charlestown?
Who knew, right? 4-1 on the horse at Charlestown. Oh, let's see here. So going to get 4-1 on that 4 horse. The 5 horse went off at 5-1. 4-5 exacta. $36 for $1. Not bad way to close out the night.
Absolutely. The win was never in question after the 4 pulled away. So, boom. We got a boom from Joe. Nice hit from Steve. Boom from Chuck.
I love it. It's a good way to start. We got the exacta to start the show. We got the winner to end the show. Good hour of little Charlestown action here for us.
Not bad, man. Good ROI on tonight's show. So, Lexi had that one, it looks like. Boom with the fireworks. Another boom from the Ace Wrecking Crew. There we go. All right. And it sounds like the viewers are hitting as well. So glad you guys were able to cap that off tonight with a little, late racing and nice paying exacta. $36 in a 7-horse field. It's not bad. You had a 4-1 over a 5-1. Did the 3 get up for third or did the 1 hold third? Because the 3 was going to blow up the try a little bit.
I think it was the I'm not going to lie. I was just focusing on the 4 getting home after get third.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Me and Mike are going to take a week off for Thanksgiving. And so we will circle back up with you guys the first week of December. And we'll I don't know what track we're going to be doing that night. We'll have to see who's racing and who we can show. But we'll definitely figure something out and get the advertising out so that you guys know well in advance. But we'll be back the Thursday after Thanksgiving at normal time, 9 Eastern. Please remember to like the show, retweet, share it, whatever you guys got to do to spread the word. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every single week and supporting us. And we enjoy doing this with you guys, too. Any closing words, Mike?
No, it's a great show. Appreciate all the comments. We love it when everyone chimes in what horse they like. This is interactive and it's horse racing, man. Opinions are opinions. It's important to hear everybody. So love it when everyone jumps in. And like Brady said, we're going to hopefully have 2 to 3 tracks going here. Once we get into a little bit better of the horse racing season with a little more tracks going. So once we get there, we'll have more live racing and we'll be a little more fast paced, just kind of whipping through these things. But it's always nice to get some winners home. Appreciate everyone tuning in and checking it out.
Fast pace, that's going to help you prep for the NHC. So it's a
Yeah.
good thing. All right, everybody. Good luck if you're playing the good chalk or fading the bad chalk this week. We'll see you next time.